Greetings. I have another question that I want to pose, and that is when we talk about the United States national debt and it's over $33 trillion big, how big is that? Because we use millions and trillions and billions like they're nothing. Well, I looked up a number to try to help you understand how big that number is. And so I want you to ponder how many trees there are on Earth. If you take all the trees on Earth, you're a little over 3 trillion. You'd have to multiply that times over 11 to get to the United States national debt. Just put things in perspective. So I have some other numbers that I want to talk about because I think perspective is so important. So the first number you see there is a huge number. I had to look it up to see how you say it. Is 352 quadrillion 670 trillion. And that number, which is a crazy big number, is the number of gallons of water in the oceans. Given that the oceans are almost 70% of the Earth's surface, you can appreciate how huge that must be and how deep they are and all the rest. But I just thought, wow, that was a crazy number. So that, again, that at least makes our national debt dwarfed, because the next number is the United States national debt in 2023. The third number is 3 trillion, which is approximate. Of course, there's trees growing and falling down every day. Approximate number of trees on planet Earth. The next number, 1 trillion 819 billion, is the number, the student loan debt in the United States. No wonder that's a hot topic. And the next number, 1 trillion 310 billion, is the U.S. Credit card debt. Holy cow. I mean, you think about that credit card debt at somewhere close to, like, let's say 15 to 20%. Do that math. Holy cow, do we pay a lot of money for just interest, which is why the credit card companies have plenty of money to be advertising themselves and what's in your pocket and all those kinds of things on television. The next number after the U.S. credit card debt is 36 billion. And that is the number of acres of land on Earth. Again, bearing in mind that the Earth's surface is only 29% land. That's a lot of land. But again, look at the other numbers and it puts it all in perspective. The next number is the Earth's population in people. The next number is the U.S. population, approximate in 2023. The next number is 20 million. And that is the estimated number of Soviet deaths in World War II. When I visited Russia back in 1987 and 1997, and 1987 especially, they had signs above hotels 1941 to 1945 because you can't forget that you lost 20 million people. I mean, it was approximately, they guesstimate, about 1 out of every 8 Russians, which is crazy to think. The next number, 90,000 to 150,000. I'm very sorry that I have a span, but that's what it is. That's the number of hairs on the average human head. I'm obviously at the lower end there. The next number, 10,000 to 200,000, just kind of boggled my mind. I thought to myself, I wonder if the new U.S. national debt is bigger than the number of leaves on Earth. Well, no, it's not. There's 10,000 to 200,000 leaves on the average tree. That would be like those deciduous kind that drop their leaves and stuff. And then the next few numbers are just interesting. 35,876 is the deepest point in the ocean, from the surface of the ocean down to the bottom of the trench. I thought that was interesting in light of the fact that Mount Everest, the tallest mountain, is 29,026 feet high. So the trench in the ocean is actually a deeper spot than the highest peak. And then the next one, which is just interesting, is 5,387 feet. That's the deepest lake, Lake Baikal. And it changed the history of the world because Russia was at war with Japan, and Russia could not build a railroad track across that lake because of how deep it was. So they had to go around, and that delayed them. And so it's a longer story than this, but it hurt the Russians in that war against the Japanese, of which the Russians lost the Russo-Japanese War of 1904-1905. So I thought that was just fun. And then the final number is 5. That is the number of dead at the Boston Massacre. It is just interesting, again, for perspective's sake, to realize that there was a mob of about 300. They were throwing ice balls and snowballs at 10 soldiers. The 10 soldiers fired into the crowd, killing 5. And that is the Boston Massacre. It is interesting to note that the 10 soldiers did not get executed for murdering innocent and unarmed Americans. And really interesting is John Adams, which became the second president of the United States, is the man who defended those 10. Because, of course, we were still a colony at the time. Anyway, just some fun numbers for perspective. And again, I just find perspective super helpful. And that's why I provided this video. Thanks for joining us.